English agent nouns in ER. For example, we put ER after work and make it an agentive noun, worker. So let's see that how this suffix works in language. Another derivation that works in the same way as zero derived verbs but is a little simpler. Marchand gives example of English agent nouns in ER. He points out that they fall into 4 categories, which can be broken down into further 2 separate sets. For example, the 4 basic categories: person, you add ER and it becomes a person. Bake is a verb and baker. Dance is a verb and dancer. Gambler and driver. Animals: pointer, assert, a dog, which is used while hunting, that the hunter points it to a certain prey and that runs to get it. So material object: blot and blotter, erase and eraser, and material objects like reminder, clincher, thriller, eye opener. So they can be further divided into two types. Habitually, when ER is added to a verb, it refers to some habitual quality. He's a gambler, so it means that he does it as a habit. He usually means that the gambler gambles habitually. But ER is added, which does not refer to the act of habituality. All ticket holders may enter. So obviously, ticket holder, it's a single instance of holding a ticket, not a habit. There are 2 possible analysis of the agent nouns of ER, both of which are reasonable. We won't try to choose between them here. One is the strategy to assign the derivation a sparse semantic rule, right? The rule, it assigned the derivation a sparse, a very rarely used semantic rule. So an agent noun is someone or something connected with what the base denotes, or alternatively somebody or something whose function or characteristic is to perform a particular act. Like baker is one who bakes, worker is one who works. For now we assume the later, the second one, what alternate somebody or something whose function is characteristics to perform a particular act. So we refer to this second meaning. It permits the categories person, animal, material object and immaterial object, as well as habitual or non-habitual interpretation. So whenever we find a word with ER, we think of person, animal, etc., who have these characteristics. So we attach certain meanings to this suffix. The other method which linguists might use to account for possible meaning of XER agent nouns involves prototypes, also called archetypes, the ideal form or representative of something. The idea is that not all members of a given category are equal, that all the words formed by ER are not equal. Reasonably, the prototype agentive is a person who habitually performs a particular type of action. So the prototypical agentive is a word like baker, dancer, gambler, or driver in the habitual sense. These reflect the core meaning of this particular formation. So taking the example of the prototype, we have reached this conclusion that with ER they reflect the core meaning of the particular words, how it is formed. Other forms like retriever, blotter or clincher involve relaxation of the core meaning. So whenever a certain ER agentive is added, the core meaning is relaxed, right? We use them to distinguish one specimen from the other member of the class. For example, as I just said, pointer, right? Pointer is not a person who points. Rather, pointer is the dog who is trained to point out certain, who is trained in such a way that whenever certain prey is pointed out, it runs to collect it. Similarly, ER with the retriever, retrieve to get something. So retriever is one that goes and get the prey. So here ER doesn't have the core meaning which we find it in driver, gambler, right, in worker. When we claim that persons are the prototypical members of the category of agentive noun like driver, worker, we can also argue that some other members of the category, material objects like screwdrivers, for example, aren't agent at all. For example, we have with screwdriver. So screwdriver is not a person, it's a tool. So instead they are instrument because they do not have will. So here we have an exception from the core meaning of the ER agentive noun. In short, the second method of analyzing agentive is to establish a central case, the prototype, and to work out from that to get the others. So we take the prototypic example of the word and try to understand the meaning of the word with the help of that prototype example. So this is how we get the meaning of agentive nouns.